baby. It's Championship Sunday. I'm jacked up. Guys, happy Sunday. Welcome into the live stream. We're going to be getting right into it right now with prize picks. But hope you guys are having a strong start to your Sunday. I am fired up for some foosball tonight. Really, really excited. So let's take a look at some of the top plays over on prize picks at the moment. How'd it go for you guys yesterday? How was the sports betting for you? It was a massive, very busy day yesterday with a lot of NBA, college hoop. It was so many college hoops games yesterday. NHL. Today we unfortunately only have one NBA game. Obviously everyone's going to be watching football. We do have some college hoops and about 5 NHL games going on. So early on in the stream, we're going to obviously hit up all the DFS books. We're going to take a look at some arbitrage plays, some positive EV plays. There are a couple college hoops games that are tipping off here within a couple of minutes. And so as we get a little bit later in the stream, I definitely want to check out the sportsbook screen to place a couple live bets if you guys are cool with a little bit of live betting. I want to try that out as well. We're going to be focused on a lot of player props, right? So I'm not really interested today in betting moneyline spreads and totals for the conference championship games, but I'm very interested in betting player props. So it's going to be a very player prop heavy focused stream when we head over to the positive EV tool. Now we're looking here at prize picks, 5 and 6 pick entries. I have no minimum data points set up at the moment, but if I go ahead and change this to 2, we're going to find out some different plays. Again, anything for 2 minimum data points, nothing really cooking for prize picks. So I'll move this off and then we'll head over to underdog. Who do you guys got in the Super Bowl? Who do you have? Let me know. I'm really probably pulling for Buffalo, Washington, as long as I guess I'm just anti-Philly today. I'm really cool with either AFC team moving on. I'm hoping to get some really, really good games. Let's jump over to underdog. And again, guys, I'm going to be coming back to prize picks and all these DFS books multiple times throughout the stream. So if you don't catch anything, or maybe you're looking for some value on sleeper and there isn't, don't worry. We'll be back to it in a little bit. We're going to start off. Let's go with 3 pick entries with no insurance. Okay, there isn't really any value for 3 pick entries with no insurance. So we'll just start off within 6 pick entries because we know there is a decent amount of value. Now, there's a lot of either esports plays, Call of Duty, CS2 Go, or this La Liga play right here. And if I scroll down just a little bit, there's a Saquon play for fantasy scores. So not a lot of NFL action at the moment. We got the Blazers taking on the Thunder later today. It's the only NBA game going on. And then I'm also cool if you guys want to add in some of these orange or yellow slips here with De'Ami Brown, under 3.5 receptions. Now, if you guys are not familiar with me, or, I do live in Pennsylvania, so I don't have access to any DFS books. So this is the best that I can provide you guys right now, is just utilizing the optimizer and showing you some of the plays. And that's what the stream's going to be about. The entire hour is going to be just as we're over here on Better. I need 5 picks, at least in green, yellow, or orange. I don't see it. For me, my line in the sand is anything in red. I don't play any plays in red. That's just based off of OddsJam's optimizer and their recommendations, so I'm not really interested. We're going to take a look at flip and rebet, but first we're going to go over to parlay play, dabble, and sleeper. So we're looking at parlay play. Minimum value here for both tight ends with Kelsey and Dallas Goedert. Let's look at Dabble right now. We're going to start off with 5 pick entries on Dabble. Dude, where's the value at Dabble right now? It's big trash. I'm not interested. Not interested. Also, for any of my DGens and OGs that are, channel members of my YouTube channel, make sure you go over to my YouTube channel homepage, go to the community tab. I'm giving away $100 cash for 2 different games. Make sure that you go over there and vote on, the anytime touchdown score, because I'm going to be giving away some cash today. DraftKings pick 6 2-pick entries. We need at least 2 picks. I'm not interested. Move on. Let's go over to Vivid Picks. We have anything for Vivid Picks? Yeah. So 5 pick entries on Vivid Picks. They're running obviously a Kelsey promo. And it seems like this Saquon promo is like it's not a massive promo, but it's like a half promo, I would say. It's just insane that Saquon's main line's like between 122 to 126.5 for his rushing yards. But yeah, and then we got a Kelsey promo going on as well. And then we'll take a look at some flip and rebet plays. Check, Billy's a bad bet for 2, but I wasted money because I bet a lot live in Buffalo. That's all right. What's going on, Smitty? What's going on? And everybody else, welcome in. Hopefully you guys are having an awesome start today. Weird day for me. So I love sleep. Sleep's one of my favorite activities in the world. But I woke up at like 7 a.m. I woke up at 7 a.m. this morning, and I was just up. So By the way, it was good value. I bet a couple anytime touchdown scores out there on FanDuel, okay? So while we're looking through these plays on Profit X, just so you guys know, I bet Dallas Goedert anytime touchdown at FanDuel, and I also bet Keon Coleman. Got some good value on Keon Coleman. I think it was like plus 460 or maybe plus 470. When I was looking compared to Pinnacle, Dallas Goedert and Keon Coleman were both plus EV plays if you're looking for anytime touchdown scores, specifically at FanDuel if you're going to bet it. So I put a little sprinkle on there, like $100 to $150 for each play. All right, Profit X, which I'm a big fan of Profit X. Looks like, so where my eyes automatically go to is, you see the first half point spread for the Commanders. Now, plus 3.5, guys. Very key number. Very key number. Plus 3.5 is a big number if you're getting 3.5 points, right? So if they're down, I don't know, maybe 17-14 or 10-7 at half, then this is going to cash for us. Okay, now Pinnacle sees this at even money, so not a great line compared to Pinnacle. Now, BetOnline sees it at minus 110, and I put some respect on BetOnline's name. They're a very sharp offshore sports book. We're getting this at plus 105 over at Profit X. I'm okay with a bit of a sprinkle here, right? I'm not as excited because Pinnacle doesn't have a very good price here, but I don't mind having a little bit of a sprinkle. So we'll come over to the NFL. Let's go to the Commanders game. This is first half point spread here, and this is at 3.5. And you can see there's about $690 at plus 108 odds, right? And if you saw on the optimizer, it was at plus 105. And that's because that's how this book gets paid, guys. If we win this bet, we got to give a little bit off the top to the book. They get their cut, and then we get to keep the rest. So when I say a sprinkle for me, this is a smaller amount. I'm not used to just wagering just $100, but I'm going to put $100 on the Commanders or Redskins at plus 3.5. And if Pinnacle was maybe at minus 105, minus 110, I'd put more on this play. But we're going to grab a little bit of Reds, and there's plenty of value out there if you guys want it. We grab a little Washington value on the first half spread. Now, when it comes to some of these player props, I like to use FanDuel and Pinnacle. In this example for Klingon, we don't have Pinnacle's odds here. We're looking at maybe he's over 15.5 points and rebounds. This it's not too bad to FanDuel. And you can also go with this player points and rebounds at 16.5. I'm a little bit more interested in going in the 15.5 route. But looks like the 16.5 looks to be pretty decent value. Might be hard for me to pass up on that. But I'm going to go ahead and grab some of this at 15.5. We'll come over here and take a look at the NBA game. Again, only one NBA game today. There it is. And so we're looking for a combo play here for his points and rebounds. So let's come down here and take a look at Klingon. Where's he at? All right, so you can see here 15.5. We could also come over to 16.5. Looks like there's $700 available at the 15.5. And for the over 16.5, there's about $450. If you are a little bit more, if you have a higher taste of risk, right? You could take the 16.5 and the 15.5, okay? If you're trying to pick one or the other, the easier one to hit's 15.5. So again, just kind of sharing some of my thoughts here and what I like with it. Yeah, I'm okay with this. I'm all right. Again, I'm not going to go all in. There's about $704 out there. So I'm just going to go with, again, another $100. And we'll take Klingon over 15.5 points and rebounds. And we'll see how that goes. So I'll throw this in over here. Let's take a look at No Vig. We'll look at Thrills as well. Let's go over to Fliff. Sorry, I totally forgot about that. What about Fliff? And we're going to be bouncing around the entire time. All right, so some pretty juicy stuff right off the top of the board. So I'm just going to set this up as maybe minus 150. And I'll leave it from minus 150 to plus 200. All right, there looks like there's no value at all. What if I take this to like minus 250? Do we have anything? All right, there's no value. So there isn't any value based off of this criteria between minus 250 to plus 200, which is insane. If I clear this entire thing out, if you want to bet some minus like 1700s, cool. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to rebet. But guys, just take a screenshot of this. I'm not as interested in betting the Chiefs for 2% EV edge at minus, 1235 odds. Just not really for me. But if you like to bet those really short odds, then you can go ahead and do so. Same thing here for some college hoops, right? On rebet, there's solid value. So if you're looking at this board right here and you're like, which one should I take? Obviously, Ohio State minus 3.5 is going to be an easier hit than minus 5.5, 6.5, or 7.5. If you're an EV truther, if you're a real numbers person, then you can obviously go after the highest play here at over 5% edge. Also, if you wanted to pair this up, you want to run a two-leg parlay, Texas minus 8.5, Ohio State minus 3.5, you could do that as well. But this is over at Rebet. Unfortunately, though, we only have Bet Rivers that's offering their odds right here for this play. So I'm not like super excited about this. But when Pinnacle shows odds here for like the under on Wisconsin at 152, 153, I would be interested in taking maybe the under 153 if I wasn't a bit limited on Rebet. Let's take a look at No Vig. And then we'll also look at Prop City over at Rebet as well. So for No Vig, there's some decent value here. Mahomes over 258 passing yards. We got this at minus 125 on Pinnacle. We're getting plus odds over at No Vig. So I am going to be sharing my phone here because they don't have a mobile desktop website. They don't have a desktop website, so I'm just going to show the phone. But before I even share my screen with my phone, I want to make sure that there's actually some liquidity in this market. We're looking for Mahomes for passing yards. A lot of different options here. And we're looking at the 258.5. Okay. So this is the conundrum. This is always my conundrum. Let me share my screen with you guys so I can tell you exactly. I like this price. Looking at Pinnacle, I do like this price. Now, you can see Mahomes here, guys. 255, 257, 258. Never mind. You can't see my screen. I apologize. You can't see it. There's about like $19,000 right now. There's a little over $19,000 that you can bet on Mahomes. Over 258.5. I'm going to go in for 250. I always am a little bit, I'm a bit cautious. I'm not going to lie here. A bit cautious. Like, I like that number a lot. But when I see over $19,000 available to wager on, that just makes me pause for a second, scratch my head and say, why is there so much liquidity available for Mahomes right now on this? But I will go in for 250, right? I'm a little nervous about this one, not going to lie. A little nervous to grab this for 250. It is just because there's so much liquidity. It's not so much the size of the bet. It's just the liquidity. And so the goal here, guys, on the stream is I'm just going to information overload dump for the next hour on you. And hopefully you find some insight and you find some things that you like that are valuable. Now, if we come down here a little bit more, a little bit less EV, but we do have a lot of books that are offering their opinions. Now, I'm kind of more interested on Saquon. The over 13.5 receiving yards. This is minus 130 over at Pinnacle, and a pretty decent price over here at No Vig. And you know this is championship game, guys. So Saquon's going to be out there unless he gets hurt. He's going to be out there no matter what happens. So receiving yards, Saquon has a bunch of different lines here between 10.5 to like 16.5, but we're looking at the over 13.5. And there's almost $700 available on this play. I'm going to go ahead and snag this up for $150. And I'm going to leave you guys some out there. So we're going to grab Saquon for $150. All right, let's move on to a couple other books as we'll come back over this here in a little bit. Let's take a look at Thrills for a second. See if we got anything over there. Really juicy stuff. This has been kind of consistent with Thrills with the optimizer, like minus 2,500 odds. I'm not as interested. Let's take a look at Onyx, see if they're pulling anything. Still not seeing any profitable plays for Onyx. That's a little disappointing. Rebet Prop City. So for any player prop bets on Prop City, again, we have plenty of minimum data points here. If I'm looking at this, I do like to see Pinnacle as one of my books. So if I scroll down a little bit with De'Ami Brown, we're getting this at plus 114 odds, right? Pinnacle's at even. DraftKings at plus 110, but you're just getting a slightly better price over at Prop City. Now, another indicator that I love to use is I think for NFL player props and NBA player props, Bet Rivers or any Canby book is very easy to beat. And so when Rebet's offering better odds than what Bet Rivers is, that's a green light indicator to me that I want to bet on this, okay? That's another like little indicator that I like to use when I'm looking at maybe NFL player props or NBA player props is like, where's Bet Rivers line set? Or any Canby sportsbook, whether it's Ballybet, Unibet, Bet Parks, doesn't matter. Sugar House, that's what I kind of like to look at there. Now, but obviously, if you want to get in on maybe Dallas Goedert under 3.5 catches, I'm totally cool with that as well because this looks to be very good. Also, probably not. It's a little EV over at DraftKings if you wanted to grab that as well. All right, let's take a look at some arbitrage plays. Let me click load into the arbitrage tool, and we'll be back over the DFS optimizer, guys, showing more dabble, underdog, better prize picks. So don't worry. We'll be back over there in a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and show my filters just for a second. I want to look at plays for today, right? I'm very interested in plays for today. And then I have all my Pennsylvania sports books teed up right here. You can see a new book that was added is outside of Onyx is Kalshi, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. They're like a trading prediction exchange model. They were just added to OddsJam today. I just saw it today. So that's really exciting. That's one thing I love about OddsJam. They're constantly updating and taking a look at adding more books to the ecosystem. So player turnovers for Hartenstein. This is a book that I love to use, which is Bet Openly and ProfitX. These are both peer-to-peer books. I want to go over to Bet Openly to see if there is any value over here on this Hartenstein play. We're looking for turnovers. And then I'm just going to click over the corner here, and let's see if he's there. He might not be there. No, he's not there. So, no. Is it steals or is it turnovers? I can't even remember where I'm at. Yeah, it's turnovers. He's not there, so it's gone, so I'm not going to go ahead and try to look for it any bit more. So a lot of different plays here. I'm just trying to see if I can go through a specific example for myself. Doesn't look like at the moment there is. But again, this was fantastic yesterday. We hit a couple arbs on the stream yesterday. I would stay away, guys, from these soccer plays. FanDuel has some really funky rules when it comes to soccer. Unless you watch a lot of soccer, you know Fulham, you know Manchester United, you know who Robinson is. If he starts, that's great. The reason that I mention this is if you bet the over on Robinson, and maybe he comes off the bench, okay, and he just plays the final 5 minutes of the match, they're going to count this, right? So if he doesn't start the game, Bet365 is going to refund you the money from this ARB, but it's still live and active on FanDuel, okay? So I stay away from these risky bet propositions because FanDuel's house rules are kind of crappy when it comes to soccer bets. But if you watch a lot of, if you know Robinson and you know he starts, then you can ARB this. But I know nothing about this dude. I know nothing about these teams, so I just stay away from it. But this is going to kind of be popping. And right now, we don't maybe have the most profitable opportunities, but it's always changing. That's one thing for sure. Now, middle betting is even better than arbitrage betting, right? Where you're finding a middle opportunity, maybe with Hollywood Brown on his over-under receiving yards between Bet Openly and DraftKings. Again, this is a really small ARB that you might not be interested in, but if he lands exactly on 41 receiving yards, you're going to cash the over and you're going to cash the under, right? So you leave yourself a window of opportunity to win both bets, and no matter what happens, you're going to make money, but you might have an opportunity to win both bets, and that's why we love middle betting so much. Same thing here with Bet Openly and maybe with Rebet Prop City. So again, just take the time to set up your filters, guys. And if anything throughout this entire stream, if I'm maybe moving a little fast for you or you're not, you have some questions, email me, DM me. Do not hesitate to reach out and ask any questions at all because I'll be here for you. Utilize me as a guide or resource. So currently right now for the EV betting, EV tool, we got all my Pennsylvania books teed up. I got a minimum of 3%. I can go a little bit higher if I want to. I got all the markets teed up. We're looking specifically for today. I'm currently devigging from OddsJam's recommended filters here. I'm using the power default method, right? Hopkins, over 24.5 receiving yards. Naturally, I just bet Mahomes over on his passing yards, so he's got to throw the ball to somebody. When it comes to NFL player prop bets, I don't mind going after FanDuel. You could see that FanDuel is the only sportsbook offering plus odds on this over. Now, truthfully, I'm not crazy that this is a one-way market. One-way market meaning that we can't bet the under, okay? But this is just an incredible price. I have to. Sometimes the price is just so good, I can't say no to this. It's just too good of a price. I got to have it. Yeah, I mean, Bray, I just noticed it. Onyx on Friday stream. When I was streaming on Friday, I seen them pop up a little bit. I signed up with them after the stream Friday evening, but I haven't placed a bet yet. So let me go ahead and utilize the one-click bet feature here over at OddsJam. Now, I might not be comfortable wagering $570, guys. How much can I wager? I guess that's what I'm interested in knowing. What's my limit here? Let me move myself down over here. $2,200. That's really solid. It's really, really good. So again, I might not be interested in wagering $570, but I'm going to go a little bit heavier here. I'm going to go $300. I like this. Get 20. I just like the price too much. I want something, so I'm in for 300 on Hopkins to get 25 receiving yards today. Again, even though it's a one-way market, I really like it. And guys, make sure you track your bets. Okay, OddsJam's Bet Tracker is fantastic. It's free. It's absolutely free to use. Take a look. Use it. It just keeps everything in one neat, concise place, right? I manually track, manually input all of my bets. Pickett's also another great option, guys, where it just automatically syncs to all your sports books, and then you can just see everything right there. Now, Bet365 is going to be littered all over my screen. I'm not going to dive into too many Bet365 plays. If you want to go after this, please, you want to run a couple parlays, you want to run some SGPs. Normally, Bet365, one of the easier books to beat when it comes to sharp sports betting, utilizing a software. So by all means, get after it. You see this Mahomes play. We bet this earlier. I bet Kelsey earlier in the week at over 69.5 yards. So if you guys just kind of see these logos, what it means I have bets on the Commanders and Eagles game. You could see, then I click into here. You could see all my bets. These are all my bets right now for the Commanders game, right? And then this Kelsey play, I bet it earlier in the week. And so I got him at the same price, plus 108 odds at 69.5. I bet this on Monday the 20th for $200. So I'm not going to rebet it again because I already got some action on it. Normally, I would like to see FanDuel's price drop to be like around plus 100 or minus 105 odds. It's still the same, but I don't mind it. We got some rushing yards here from Mahomes. We got Simons. I do like the rushing yards for sure. Let me jump in and take a look at this really quick over at FanDuel. I know Patty Mahomes is going to be. He's going to have one of those crazy plays. Yeah, the odds just went up a little bit from plus 108 to plus 110. I like this a lot. Okay, all right. So if it goes up to plus 110, what does that change this to? Means we have about a 4.75% edge. I should wager about $375. Again, one-click bet feature. I don't have to go search for this play. Maybe I just refresh my screen really quick. Bingo. It's right there. It's automatically pulled up. All right. Let's go 350 on this one. Let's do that. I do like that play quite a bit. All right. So we're in for 350 on Mahomes to rush for 25 yards. Right? Need him to run, need him to pass. Getting some good plays, getting some good odds. Right? This is just about kind of me diversifying my portfolio and having a lot of solid plays that are going to pay out way more, right? Like FanDuel at $100 wager is going to pay us out $110. We would have to put up $110 to make $100 at Bet365. That's a really big difference and big deal in pricing. That's why we're going with this over at FanDuel. We'll go back over to Simons here for anyone that does use BetMGM. This looks incredible to FanDuel and Pinnacle. Let me log into my BetMGM. I started to feel the wrath of some limits yesterday on my BetMGM account, which is a part of sports betting. So if you want to make money, limits are going to happen, but I can still probably get some money down on this. I'm interested to see how much I can wager on this play. I think they won't pull this points play up. I think I got to find it automatically. Yeah, it doesn't pull up automatically. So I'm going to give BetMGM a minute while it's kind of doing its spinny wheel crap. And we'll come back over here and we'll take a look back at Prize Picks and Underdog again. We're just bopping around, guys, all day long, utilizing some different tools. I could stream for the next 5 hours just going over some sharp plays and going over some different bets. But I appreciate you guys hanging with me for the next, for the hour, just hanging out, grabbing some plays. If I go over to 2 minimum data points on Prize Picks, I only have 4 plays. Right? So I'm not as interested. If I just remove the minimum data points, though, anyone that wants to run a 5 or 6 pick entry here, we could almost run a 4 pick entry right here as well, which it doesn't happen too often between these 4 guys right here. This Wiggins play, though, wouldn't be a good play. So I'm just going to scroll a little bit to show you guys some other plays here on Prize Picks. Daniel, do I have access to BWin or Party Poker? I don't think so, Daniel. It's a good question. And afternoon to you, my friend. I don't think I do. I'm trying to think who BWin is associated with in America when it comes to a sports book. All right. But no, I don't. Excited to see, though, that some of the newer books are being added into the OddsJam ecosystem, which is just always fun, dude. There's there's nothing more exciting than seeing new books added. All right, so this should be all finished up. Let me go over the NBA, and I'm looking for this game. We're looking for, I think, Simon's under on his points. Under 18.5 at minus 125. Is that correct? 470 is a little rich for my blood. But like I mentioned, guys, I think that I'm limited. So if I wanted to go 250, what's the limits now? $12. Oh, fine, dude. I'll take my $12. Can't tell me. I'm taking it. But that's tough. That's a tough one. Ooh. Well, it was bound to happen. But I had a good run with you, BetMGM. We'll still be able to use you for some different spots, but that's tough. They have the same odds as BetMGM, Daniel. That's interesting. Yeah, Borgata. Among Us, are the Bills winning? I sure hope so. I appreciate that insight, Daniel. Thank you. Let's take a look at underdog. I don't know if the Bills are. I would like for them to. Honestly, the Chiefs have owned them, and I mean, if they can't get over the hump now, I mean, obviously they're going to keep trying, but this is probably going to be familiar for like Bills fans, not in the same breath, but similarly like to in the early 90s when the Cowboys would just beat them every year in the Super Bowl. The Cowboys just own Buffalo, and Kansas City's kind of owning them right now. But I mean, obviously they went head-to-head earlier this year in the regular season, and the Bills, it was their only loss. So we're really looking forward to that game. But I'm really hoping the Commanders can put up a solid fight today against the Eagles. And we're in for some really good football. I'm very excited. Going to go over to a buddy's house, hang out with him. I haven't seen in a while, and watch a little football. So I'm really excited about that. Underdog, yeah. The thing that kind of there's some solid esports plays out there, right? But unfortunately, we don't have a lot of other sports books that are offering their opinions here. So obviously, I'm totally cool if you want to sprinkle and make a bunch of different type of slips here off of these 6-man entries. But again, for 3-man entries, we're not going to have enough because we need at least this play for beans isn't going to qualify. Let's take a look at Better. We'll look at Dabble. Better, again, we need a 5-pick slip. We only have one option right here with A.J. Brown, so I'm just not as interested. Let's take a look at Parlay Play. No value at the moment on Parlay Play. Let's look at Dabble. Any value on Dabble? Not for a 5-pick entry. I'm not very, very excited about that. What about Sleeper? No value at the moment on Sleeper. Cool, fun story. Vivid Picks. Same thing, kind of like Dabble. There's just 3 plays right now at the moment that are kind of decent. Outside of that, not much. If we go over to Fliff, everything was really juicy earlier over on Fliff. Yeah, kind of more of the same, where these are some pretty outrageous point spread plays on the NFL. If you wanted to dip your toes into some, like none of these are even like minus like 150s. These are all just really, really crazy. Rebet. Okay. Got this over that popped up here with Long Island University. Pinnacle thinks it should be at minus 139. You can get it at minus 114, the over 125. I like this a lot. Now, outside, guys, of utilizing these screens and utilizing the EV tool here, I also love to use the sportsbook screen, especially when it comes to live betting, right? So if we're going to look at some college hoops games right now that are just getting underway, there's 2 games at the moment, right? So what I'll do is just click into both of these games. You can see I have some of the more popular sports books pulled up. I have Pinnacle. I have BWin right here. Let me pull up DraftKings as well. There we go. Well, all right, so let's add DraftKings to the mix. And so right now what I would like to do is just kind of take a look at like the total points, right? And so what we're really looking for is like if you want to bet the over maybe on Bet365, and again, everything that I'm going to say right here, guys, is going to move extremely fast. But this is how I like to use the sportsbook screen to live bet. Maybe I just focus on total points between these 2 games. I'm already going to get logged into my sportsbooks right now, take a look at what's going on, and we're just going to kind of take a look. So I'm seeing all right, BetChris, Bookmaker. BetChris and Bookmaker use the same odds maker. I like to use Pinnacle and BetChris as my 2 sharp books. And I'm just kind of paying attention on the total here. Like, again, betting this over 123.5 seems incredible because it's 2 points off to the market of BetChris. Right? It's a point off to Pinnacle right now at the moment. Not too bad. Maybe with Maryland and Indiana right here, we could see that 155, 156.5. Maybe we want to bet the under at Caesars at under 157.5, where it's a little bit juicier over at MGM, right? So what I'm really looking for is I'm looking at Pinnacle and I'm looking at BetCris. I'm looking at where their number is. And then I want to find at least 1.5 to 2 points or more of a difference between the recreational sports books and the two sharp sports books. That's what I'm really looking for. Okay. So I'm already going to be logged into these books, ready to go, and we're going to be able to pounce. That's kind of what the whole idea is behind this live betting and what I'm going after total points. If we look at the point spread, it's the same thing, right? A half point doesn't get me very excited. BetCris and Pinnacle have a little bit different of opinion here, but down here, maybe 4.5. If I could get this might be something here, maybe at the -3.5. Or maybe I can get this at -3. I would like this a little bit more. On the flip side, maybe if I can get this at a +5.5 on Indiana or +6, I would really be excited about that, right? So this is just a little bit different of how I like to use the sportsbook screen, guys. When I'm live betting, this is one of my favorite tools that I love to utilize. And this is going to be available on the Platinum plan. As everything that I'm showing you right now at the moment is the Platinum plan. And it's definitely, guys, just talk to the fine folks at OddsJam. Ask for a 1-week free trial. See what you like. Try them all. Try all the tools out. See, what you can utilize, and trust me, you're gonna have a lot of fun. For me, I have been live betting a lot more than pregame betting. I will say that I've started to make a bit of a shift into more live betting because I just think the edges, the profitable edges with arbitrage and live are even more. And these sports books have a hard time of figuring out if you're a sharp bettor because things are moving so fast compared to maybe pregame. Back over here in Hartenstein and Scoot Henderson, I want to take a look at both these plays first. The over 3.5 assists. This is really good over at ProfitX right now. This is great to Pinnacle. It's not too shabby to FanDuel. Great to Bookmaker. I want this for Hartenstein on this Thunder game. Let's go back up to the top here. We're looking at maybe just assists at over 3.5. There's about $514. I'm going to take $250. And then you guys, I'm going to leave a little bit out there. Try again with my location. Now there's about $454. Might not be any liquidity by the time my location gets verified and you guys snag it all up. But this is something I really like to look at. Where's Pinnacle? Where's FanDuel? Yeah, leave the page. Just give me a quick refresh. Let's try it once more. Or it's gone. Yeah, no, there it is. Yep, 49. It's down to $49. Oh, it's already gone. Too slow, man. Too slow, Billy boy. You got to move a little faster than that. Hopefully you guys got some of that value. It just went like that, right? But that's okay. That's what it's all about. Hopefully some of you guys got it. Let me know in the chat if you were able to grab some of this value. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. I would rather you guys get some of it than maybe just somebody else. Let me click refresh, but you can see, guys, when things move a little bit faster on these exchanges, when you find a really good price, it's not going to be sitting out there for the next hour, right? It's going to be there, unless you got like this Mahomes play that has like $19,000 in liquidity. Scoot Henderson on his points. Let me take a look at this well over at Bet Openly. This is quite good this isn't bad to FanDuel, very good to Pinnacle. We're getting a great price over at Bet Openly, the over 10.5 points at -115. Let's go over to the Blazers. Points. Yeah, there's about $500 available right now. And they're telling me to wager about $780. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to take up some of this for sure. I'll grab $250 on Scoot Henderson and leave about $250 out there. And just like that, guys, again, with these peer-to-peer betting exchanges, they don't care how much money that you make on your account. They don't care if you make millions on this account because they, as I mentioned, they get paid. If you win the bet, you give them a bit of a cut, and then that's it. So glad that we got that play over there on Scoot. So I'll throw this in the bet tracker, and then we'll kind of move on. Yes, yeah. I mean, I know on this stream, dude, if I'm showing the plays, it's getting scooped up, right? But that's okay. That's all right. I already know that. And the bets will come, the bets will go. But if you guys do use Bet Openly, there's still $250 out there for Scoot Henderson. It's really solid. All right, let's look at Jalen Hurts on his passing yards. See, so Kachuk on his assists, I bet this a little bit earlier, but this is really solid. Where did I put this in a parlay? Yeah, I put this in a two-leg parlay I cooked up over at Bovada with Kachuk and Netches, but I like that. I got a plus 130, so I'm happy with that. But Jalen Hurts over on his passing yards. This is really good to Pinnacle. Pinnacle's on a bit of an island here in terms of how bullish they are on this over. So when I jump into the odds graph, one of my other favorite things that I love to utilize is you can see that Pinnacle's this yellow line right here. They just plummeted in price, okay? Within about a couple hours, they've just started to move down to minus 141. Whereas like Bet365 and FanDuel are sitting at the same price. Now, again, another indicator for me. If FanDuel has the same odds as Bet365, and I deem that Bet365 is one of the easiest sports books to make money off of, then this is something that I want to go after on FanDuel, okay? I don't think that Hurts is going to maybe be running a ton because he is going to have a brace on his knee, on his leg. So I do like this play quite a bit. Too many FanDuel plays. Too many screens opened up right now at the moment. I do apologize. $510. I don't know if I'm willing to make that kind of commitment. That's a big one there for me. But I will like to go for a 250. I'm comfortable with a 250. But there we go. Hurts over 193 in his passing yards. So I like this movement here, and this is something that else comes with the Platinum Plan, guys. This odds graph, the price movement chart. You get to see, a sharp sportsbook like Pinnacle moved in a certain direction, and FanDuel's just staying stagnant here. This is something that we want to move on, right? This is a bet that we want to place because the books are just staying stagnant and our sharp book moved, so we want to go off of that action. That's kind of the whole idea behind it. Josh Allen, under 31.5 passing attempts over at Caesars. This is very good to Pinnacle. Let's take a look, though. We jump into this a bit more. Add in some other books. You can see that Bookmaker, a sharp offshore book that I like to utilize as a reference, kind of jumped up in price, then came back down to earth a little bit. Pinnacle's kind of just been chilling here the entire time. Caesars has just moved up in their price. So now this is a different example of I am not as interested in wagering on this under on Josh Allen because Caesars just moved, right? And Caesars odds didn't change or move for no apparent reason. That's because there's some money and information flowing in. So I'm just going to stay away from this play. So there's two different examples, one where I'd hop in and one where I would stay away. Now, we just made a wager on Scoot Henderson on his points. Hartenstein over 10.5 points is at plus 100 odds on Bet Openly. Again, this is barely plus EV on FanDuel. It's quite EV, though, to Pinnacle. So let me take a look at this again with both of these books. FanDuel hasn't done really a lot. They've kind of retreated a little bit. Pinnacle dropped a ton about 5 hours ago. Their price plummeted. So I don't mind seeing if I can find some of this on the Thunder. Points, unfortunately, there's $10 available. I'm not going to go after it. I'll leave it if you guys want it out there. I'm just going to save my $10 now for the moment. I think it's a good play. I just rather someone else maybe grab it for $10. I'm just not as interested for that amount. Again, as we've glossed through any Bet365 plays, if you want to attack these plays, by all means, go ahead and do so. Real quick, I want to take a look at this anytime goal score for Nathan McKinnon. I don't think that FanDuel is the sharpest when it comes to hockey props. This is a really good outlier between Pinnacle and FanDuel, so I want to jump into this. So here, FanDuel's price has jumped up a bit, and Pinnacle's kind of just been chilling for the last 7 hours. Normally, this is a market that I like to attack, but based off of this movement, I'm not as interested in this right now. I think it's a great price. If you guys want some of this, by all means, go ahead. I'm just not as interested maybe in grabbing this just based off of that movement alone. Let me go back over to the optimizer right now, guys. We'll go back to Prize Picks and Underdog. Hopefully, you guys are finding some insight, finding some tips. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to be streaming again at 9 a.m. Eastern time, talking about how much money we made today. So if you guys want to stop by, hang out, I should be streaming on the OddsJam channel tomorrow morning because I know that Alex likes to stream sometimes in the afternoon. So kind of catch both of us throughout the week. On Prize Picks, 5 and 6 pick entries again. Some things have changed a little bit, not too much. We'll see. There we go. Check Caesar's nose. Made a long shot parlay sat, he says, on the DraftKings using the promo converter tool. Ooh, I like that. I like that sat, yeah. Is Bet Openly available in Texas, Jamal? Oh, hey, Juan, I'll throw it in here, my ex name. I would say, that's a good question. I don't honestly know. So that's me. That's my ex name right there, Juan. Let me find out. Let me take a look. I should know it off the top of my head, but I don't. Bet openly. Where can you play it at? No, openly contest. Where's bet where I live? Here we go. Is not legal. If you don't see where you live on the list, then you can bet openly. So these are the states right here, guys, that it's not legal. Hawaii, Idaho, Nevada, New Jersey, Africa, and then the region of Middle East. So if you're in Texas, you can use bet openly. It's really just New Jersey, Nevada, Idaho, and Hawaii are the only 4 states where you can't use bet openly. So big fan of them. I've been using them for about 2 years now. So I'm a big fan of them. So they got maybe this Northwestern play right here. Nah, the odds just changed. That's okay. All right, she's gone. What about P. Ryan? P. Ryan under on his receiving yards at under 8.5. This is really good to Pinnacle. This is, again, over at Caesars. I just jumped off the fantasy screen. I got to go back to the optimizer. I just got enamored with plus EV betting. Yeah, I don't like this because of that movement from Caesars. It's really climbing, so I'll stay away from it. Back over to Prize Picks. Some different esports plays here as I'll pause for a second. What's positive correlation and negative correlation, Shies, on esports? That's a good question. Positive correlation would be if you take maybe one team, a couple of guys on one team's over on their kills, and then the team that they're going up against, you would take their lower on their kills, right? That's positively correlated where one team's going to win, so they're going to have more kills compared to the others. Negative correlation would be basically taking maybe both teams that are playing against each other, both overs or both unders, because one team's going to have to win and one team's going to lose. So that's would be my example of maybe positive and negative correlation. Let me go take a look at underdog right now at the moment. We're going to start off on 6-pick entries. Yeah, I mean, with OddsJam's optimizer saying that the best play is minus 133 and then everything after that's minus 119, anything that I show you guys outside of a 6-pick entry right now is going to show up as red on the optimizer with OddsJam's recommendation. So these would be just what you'd want to put together for a 6-pick slip for underdog. Man, am I fired up. Am I fired up for some football. So I'm really hoping, I'm hoping that Jaden Daniel just kind of balls out. I'm like really bullish on this kid. I'm hoping that he just has a great game today. And then I'm just hoping it's a good old-fashioned shootout between Mahomes and Allen. Maybe it's, maybe the Chiefs are up by like 4 or the Chiefs are up 1 or 2. Allen's got to drive him down the final drive of the game, and he's got to go down the field and get it done. Would love to see maybe overtime. Overtime would be insane. So yeah, I'm really excited for the games today. It's going to be great. All right, so this we haven't seen anything on better the entire stream. Dude, we're flying by, almost 45 minutes in. Good golly. This has kind of been the same the entire time. Let's take a look at parlay play. Let's take a look at Dabble. Thanks, Losing Streak. I appreciate that. Yeah, and so that's where, what Losing Streak was saying is maybe a little bit more necessary for League of Legends, maybe not CS2. Now, again, guys, I don't know much about Valorant or CS2 or COD, in terms of, how the game's played. So I'm definitely not an expert by no means, but that's kind of something that you just want to think about, right? It's easier for me to give better examples for, sports, whether it's hockey, baseball, or football. But, I appreciate that insight. Drew, what's my thoughts on betting using a lot of the time? There's only about 2 or 3 data points. Yeah, that's the tough part, right? And so that's why you're going to hear a lot of times people talk about using the middles tool. We'll head over to DraftKings Pick 6. Here is a 2-pick entry, guys, for DraftKings Pick 6, no insurance. The middles tool is that, underdog, Prize Picks, all these DFS books, they maybe really don't know where to set the line. And so the real source of truth is in the middle. I think any of these DFS books, these are all some type of parlay, sports betting book, right? So you have to make some type of parlay. So I think that you can find some insane value on esports. And I think that for myself, when I was out in Arizona playing this, I would like to play, like I said, I would like to do, if I had, $100 I was going to bet on esports slips, I would just chop that up into very small amounts and just kind of sprinkle it. I think something that I got in trouble with, not in trouble, but like I think I was doing incorrectly early on when it came to esports was that, excuse me, I was just building like one slip. And I was just like, all right, we're riding with this slip. And I wasn't getting volume down. And I think that's where maybe you can really see some successes if you start to really get a lot of volume down, building a bunch of different combinations of slips. Let's take a look at Vivid Picks. We'll stop by Sportsino. We'll stop by Thrills. We'll stop by a bunch of different books now at the moment and just kind of take a look. Appreciate that insight, dude. Underdog gives worse odds on esports, all overs, unders. I guess rounds per map is the theory. Best of 13 win by 2 sometimes. It's 13-4 and unders hit sometimes 19-17. NHL picks. Yeah, we got you, brother. We'll be getting you some NHL picks. I think it's very likely that it could be a rematch of the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Eagles Chiefs. What was that? Super Bowl 57. But I would love to see a Commanders Bills Super Bowl, because I know that like one team's going to be very happy. But, I also think about like the Philly and KC fans, like the people there that are going to the games. Like I always have a little bit more excitement for like the home crowd. I just think about those people that are like packing up their stuff. They're freezing their butts off. They're going to the game, and hopefully they're going to, go home really happy. But I am pulling more for Buffalo. Buffalo's been through a lot of heartache, and really pulling for them. We're going to pull up Parlay here, guys. Parlay with an E. This is a newer DFS book. But I could see it maybe being being Chiefs, Eagles for sure. But I'm not going to be upset if it's Bills, Washington, or Bills, Philly. That would be interesting as well. All right, so we're looking at Parlay with an E. I don't know if you guys are new. This is a newer DFS book. The value over here is pretty insane. It's pretty dumb. But it's dumb and just like how crazy EV a lot of these are. I know this book works a little bit differently than maybe others. I believe it's you versus me in terms of when we're building these slips together. So if you're going up against others in the odds GM community, it could be a little bit tougher. But I definitely wanted to showcase it just to show what's going on. Also, anyone that uses maybe Hot Streak, I don't know if anyone does, but if they do, I want to make sure I give that a shine for a couple of seconds. Some solid value at the moment on Hot Streak. A lot of NFL value, which is lovely to see. A lot of EV here, especially for some of these top plays right here. So if you guys do use Hot Streak, here's some of the top plays. Yeah, Chris. I mean, that's what I think. When I think of like Washington, Buffalo, I think of like the early 90s going against it. That's when they were both in their heyday. Marv Levy, Joe Gibbs. That's what it's all about. So I'm hoping to see that there for both of those. My brother-in-law, he lives down in Maryland. He's a massive Washington fan. So I'm pulling for him today because I would, it would be fun to see him. And also then I would go down for the Super Bowl. I'd go down and hang out with him to watch the Super Bowl with him, live vicariously through him. We're looking at Sportsino at the moment. If you guys have utilized Sportsino, it's like a fliff. It's like a rebet. I've used it. There's some pretty EV plays, a lot of soccer plays on this team total odds and evens. But again, if you're not maybe interested in betting plus 173 odds, no problem. We can go over here, maybe say minus 150, and then I can remove this and say, you know what, let's just go like plus 110, right? You want to go after this. So anything that's plus 110, you can see the Pinnacle has some odds here for some of these soccer plays. Very EV right here. So if you want to go after some different soccer plays on Sportsino, very high EV. If we wanted to maybe have like 4 minimum data points, though, you don't want to just go after 2 or 3 books. We're not going to have that. So, but want to give some options there with Sportsino. Let's pop over to, we'll take a look at Thrills. We'll look at Prop City. We'll look at ProfitX again, and we'll look at No Vig. So Thrills, yeah, nothing's really changed. Super juicy plays. I'm not interested in that. And then let's go to Rebet Prop City. And I try to keep it moving, guys. Try to show you a bunch of different books. So wherever you live, whatever you're looking to tail, whatever you're into, give you a lot of different options so that you can make some different slips. I would say that the rate that I'm moving, if you need to, take a screenshot, pause the stream, whatever you need to do so that you guys can get some of these plays. Yeah, all right. So rebound. I mean, no pinnacle odds here. That's the first thing that I notice. There's no pinnacle odds for any of this. And then a lot of these are some college basketball collegiate player props. I'm not a huge fan of it. That's just my take. Not a market that I particularly like to dive too heavy into is collegiate player props. Let me know in the chat, guys, if you have been betting collegiate player props. How's it been going for you? Have you been crushing it, or have you been getting crushed? Love to hear from you, because asking for a friend, just to see how you guys are doing with it thus far. And then as we start to get in the yellow and orange plays, this is very low EV. I'm not as huge. I'm not a big fan of going after those EV plays. I want some kind of gap there. So for Prop City. Let's go now over to Profit X, and let's take a look at Profit X. So we bet this clean and play. I bet the over 15.5 earlier. You can get the 16.5 if you want. Bet Online sees Eckler over 27.5 receiving yards is minus 119, and it's plus 101 on Profit X. I appreciate you saying that, Check. College ball has been amazing. Has it been Check? Has it been more player props for you, or has it just been totals or spreads and money lines for you? I'm kind of interested in this Eckler play a little bit. Kind of interested in this a bit more. And then I'm looking to see if anything else. You can bet some unders on some touchdowns if you wanted to go after this. But I'm going to probably take a look at Eckler to see how much liquidity is there for this play at Profit X on his receiving yards. Let's take a look. So the over 27.5, again, there's about just under 1,600. I'm going to go in for 150. Bingo. All right, we're in for 150 on Eckler over 27.5 receiving yards. I like this play a bit. Plenty of liquidity still out there if you want to grab some of this over $1,400 at the moment. I'll throw this in. OddsJams Optimizer says that this is about a 3% edge. And because BetOnline has their odds right here, I kind of like this. I'm not going to lie, so I'm in on that play right there. Let's go over to NoVig, and let's take a look at NoVig, see if they got anything. I'm almost out of cash on NoVig. Might have to make another deposit. Okay, so again, all these plays right here, no Pinnacle odds. And you don't have to have Pinnacle's odds. And Pinnacle isn't the end-all, be-all when it comes to a sharp book for player props. They're just one specific resource, though, that I like to use, or one data point that I like to take a look at to see. And for any of these plays, the first time they pop up is for Saquon over on his receiving yards. We bet this a little bit earlier, so I'm already in on that. But Denny Advida over 6.5 rebounds. This is minus 115 on FanDuel, who I think is quite the sharp book when it comes to NBA player props. We can get this at minus 101 on NoVig. I'm a little bit more interested in that. Let me pull up this for Advida to see if there is any liquidity there for this rebounds. Looks like, yeah, they have it at minus 101. Yeah, there's some. My bad. So there is some liquidity out there, guys. I'm grabbing a little bit right now at the moment. I'm grabbing a 150, but for Advida over 6.5 rebounds, it's slightly EV. I'm just going to grab 150 here, but there's some money out there. If you wanted to grab that play, you can. Over at NoVig. I'm basically out of NoVig money now, so that's c'est la vie for me and NoVig. All right, let's go back over the EV tool. Let's come up to the top. I just want to remember who I'm DVigging to. I'm using Pinnacle at the moment. We'll go back to OddsJam's formula, show this, and let's take a look at some of the top plays. We bet this Hopkins play earlier, so I like this a lot. If you wanted to bet some collegiate player props on Profit X, Toppin and Dane here. Couple of plays. Commanders team total over. Again, if you're looking for well, Billy, which one should I go after? My recommendation is take the Commanders over 20.5 compared to 23.5. It's an easier over to hit. It's a lower bar. But if you just want to play it by the numbers, obviously go with this, with the top one. If you want to play both, you can. Just remember, if you play both overs here, you're adding a bit of risk to your position. And so you just want to be mindful of that. You don't want to go too big. Too deep. James Cook on his rushing yards over F. Fliff. In general, this seems to be not too shabby. This is a better odds than Bet Rivers. It's the best odds possible. It's an ARB to Bet Online. Not a massive ARB, but it is an ARB nonetheless. I only have about $100 right now, But let's take a look at this, and we'll pull this up on the NFL. I will bet my last $100 that I have at the moment. I have some bets out there pending today for Fliff. So we're looking at rushing yards. Again, this is going to be an alternate rushing yards, guys. So you got to click the arrows. And then we're going to scroll down just a bit. The over 59.5 is at plus 115. I'm going to go in for this for $100. There we go. There's our Fliff play. And I'm out of dough. So we're out of here. See you later. So we'll throw this in the tracker right here. But I do like this play. OddsJam says it's about a 7.5% edge. If I would have had more money in Fliff, I definitely would have bet more. But, you know, your boy's broke. He's out of cash. Eckler under on his receptions. That's a Canby book. I did bet his over on his receiving yards. He could have 2 catches for, 30 yards. Though that it's in the realm of possibilities. Ooh, Daniel, my man Daniel, you know who you are. Bruno Miguel Borges Fernandez. Does this guy play? Is he a starter? So I got Daniel's in the UK. He watches EPL. I got no clue with these EPL guys. So I do have 1 or 2 footy correspondents out here in the chat. If this dude plays, I'm going after it. One of my sharp sportsbooks guys that I lean on a lot for soccer player props is Bet Rivers. I make fun of Bet Rivers a lot, but they are very sharp when it comes to player props for soccer. And so, Daniel, if you can let me know, dude, if this guy actually starts, then I'm definitely interested. Best player on Man United sat you, then I'm in. Thank you. That's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to hear. All right, let me log back into my FanDuel, and we'll hit this up. Because that's the problem is, as we mentioned before, guys, FanDuel's house rules are a little wonky when it comes to player shots, especially because we're betting the over. All right, we're logged in. Perfect. So I just don't know if these guys are bench players, reserve players, or if they're actually start. So Bruno's the best. I'm in on that. OddsJam's telling me to bet 390, and I do like this. I like this a lot. We're going to go 400 on Bruno. That's a big bet for Billy Boy. Woo-hoo! We got football and we got football. So we got a couple bets going on right now, and that's a big matzo ball for me. I'm kind of nervous, but I'm excited about it. We're going in for $400. And just seeing that price over at Bet Rivers, it's 30 cents off to FanDuel. I have some confidence, especially maybe like Bet Online at plus 104. I like that a lot. Owner's box, but I'm kind of new. Meme says trying to see more about them before I throw it. I think we have definitely have a few people here in the stream that use Owner's box. I know myself, as I mentioned before, when I move back to Arizona, I'm interested in maybe getting into some more DFS books. But I know that, obviously I can't speak too high. I can't speak much on it right now because my state sucks for when it comes to that. Josh Allen on rushing yards over at No Vig. I'm just double checking to make sure I don't have any Josh Allen plays. I don't. Looks like the odds changed by 1 cent. So from plus 111 to plus 110. I think, like I mentioned before, over at No Vig, I'm out of how much money do I have? I got $130. All right, it's not bad. I'll take that if it's out there. Let me take a look at how much is out there for his rushing. We know that Josh loves to run when it comes to playoff time. Yeah, so this is one of those where there's like almost $15,000 available on this play, which always makes me scratch my head a bit, but I only have $131 left in this account. So I'm going to go in for 130 on the over 49.5. All right. So we're in for this. But anytime that there's a crap ton of liquidity, I'm always a wee bit nervous. Player shots here, guys. Another for DraftKings. Okay, we're looking at Garnacho. This is a massive outlier to every other sports book if you want to bet the over. I'm quite limited on DraftKings just in general. To be honest, I have not bet a player prop. I haven't bet too many soccer player props on DraftKings. And so sometimes when you bet different markets on a book, like my limits might be a little bit higher. So I'm interested in taking a look at this right now and seeing. Again, I don't know who this guy plays for, what's his name, but the one-click bet feature, one of your picks is no longer available. You know why? Because they realized they screwed up on their price. So that was a fun exercise at the moment. We're coming down here looking at Diami Brown. I'm now out of dough. Anyone that uses Bet Openly, Chiefs -4. If you want to grab this on the spread, you can. Velarde under on his shots here on a Canby Sportsbook. I know some people are asking for hockey props. Flames Jets, the under 1.5. This looks very good. Let me go over to my Sugar House account and log in on this. Loves the shoot, Ramo. Yeah, plus 140 odds is fantastic. So I'm in on that. If they didn't change it on DraftKings, I would be in on this. Let's go over to the NHL. We're looking at this Flames game. Looks like that Rangers game is underway right now as well. Flames, Jets. And we're looking for player shots under 1.5 for Velarde at plus 125 odds. Odds Jam would have me wager about $240 on this play. This is a bit of an outlier. I'm not going to lie on this under. No other sports books, like the next best odds are plus 105. We're getting this at plus 125. Can I wager $200 on this play? Will you let me? Oh, yes. Yes, baby. Well, that's a nice one. Okay. I'm excited about that one. Oh, I can't believe they let me get 200. This is my personal Sugar House account that I signed up with about a couple of months ago. So it's still going well for player props. At some point it's going to run out, but it's going well at the moment. Let's go back over to the optimizer, and we'll kind of end the stream, guys, as we're hitting that hour mark with Prize Picks and Underdog. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me for about an hour and hitting up some different bets and taking a look at some different markets. Hopefully you're able to find some value for sure. As we're back over on Prize Picks. All right. Prize Picks. If you don't like fantasy scores, which I don't blame you, because I'm not a fan of them either. If I want to get rid of these fantasy scores, take a look. Click Apply. Okay. Laffy T's Grave. All right. I'm T. Dashy. All right. We got some different plays if we remove the fantasy scores. Again, these are all esports plays. So play at your own risk. Man, I love it. There's nothing better than when you get started today and you kind of have a lot of bets pending out there. It gets me so fired up, so pumped to go. Ready for football, ready for just a great day of sports. Sitting on the couch, chilling, hanging with the boys and watching some ball. I'm pumped. Underdog 6-pick entries, not bad. It's okay. Unfortunately, we haven't seen any value for 3-pick entries for most of the stream. So this is about as good as it's going to get at the moment right now with Underdog. And Better's been terrible for this entire stream. Yeah, it's been A.J. Brown, and that's it. Let's look at Dabble. They nerf correlation picks memes. I saw that people are just doing first half plays now. Yeah, memes. I mean, I know last year, it was kind of the gold rush for correlated plays. I know that some people like to run 4-pick entries, and you can still maybe find some correlation, like, in hockey, you take the goaltenders over on saves, and then you take the 3 shooters for the other teams over on shots, and you can still get some correlation there for a 10x payout. But I would imagine that most of the books have kind of caught on to all of this. We'll go back over to Flip. Yeah, no problem, Juan. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Yeah, these flip plays are super juicy. But, guys, that's where I'm going to kind of shut down the stream for today. I'm going to go ready, get dressed, and get myself cleaned up and go over to my friend's house. Questions, email me, DM me. I respond to everybody. But otherwise, guys, have a fantastic Sunday. Hopefully all your bets hit. We'll take a look at Rebet once more. Hopefully all your bets hit. You win a bunch of money. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, recapping how much money we won. All right, guys, take care.